Okay, I should be live. How is my microphone level? Last time I did a little stream, nobody could hear me. So I'm not sure if anybody can hear me this time around. Not sure, I might not have charged the battery on my lapel mic. That might be what the problem is. I'll have to wait a few seconds here for comments to come back to see if people can actually hear what I'm saying. All right, you can hear me? Well, that's good. Good deal. As long as somebody can hear me, I'm good to go. Can't hear very well. Damn it. I'll try to remember to speak loud enough to hear whilst I'm cooking and whilst I'm talking. I have a new microphone, a new boom mic like my old one, but I can't use it this time around anyway because I'll be over by the stove cooking. So hopefully you'll be able to hear me. I'll try and speak up loud enough to be heard. And I'll amble on over the stove and we'll get this cooking underway. I've been playing around with my Aebleskiver pan, seeing as I just gave one away as part of my celebration for 20 channel members. And I've tried something a little different with it. Instead of making pancake balls, I'm making eggs in it. So let me get this set aside. I'm going to start this, get this warming up. Here, get that warming up. I'm also going to have little balls of sausage inside my Aebleskivers. I pre-cooked these last night, and I'm just going to warm them up in this pan here whilst we're warming everything else up. That burner's a little bit screwy. But anyhow, I'm going to start off with 6 eggs. I did this recipe once before, and I've forgotten something already. Hang on. Let me pick up my cord so I don't drag it across the burner. I knew I forgot to get something. I need a skewer. Anyway, 6 eggs. I'm going to beat them up here in my measuring cup. That should be a great plenty. I noticed another thing when you're cooking these. With eggs, you want to fill the cups a little farther than you do with pancake batter because the pancake batter will rise and the eggs won't. And I'm going to fill them fairly full, but I want to leave a little bit of room for the sausage. I'm going to put a pinch of cheese in each one of them too while I'm at it. I got some cheese all grated up right here. I see my white balance is awfully bright, but nothing I can really do about that right now. Set these aside. Oops, get back here. And my wire is going to cause me problems I can see. Get my egg set aside. Put a little salt and pepper in there. Salt and pepper. Little touch of milk. And we'll whoop these up good. Alright, now wipe that off. And it's starting to warm up. This pan though is plenty hot. Put a little bit of clarified butter in there. Just to really hot. You don't need your pan smoking. That's usually not a good thing. But I guess I was trying to do a couple things too many. It's not on very high. That burner must be a lot hotter than the other one. Anyway, I'll dump these in. I'm just warming these up. They're already cooked. You'll want to pre-cook these because the eggs cook fast enough that the sausage will not get done before the eggs are ready. That's still heating up, but I'm going to brush it with some melted clarified butter just to have everything all ready to go, and so I can get the butter out of my way. And I'll brush a little on top here too, just to keep stuff that slops out of the pan, out of the little pockets, from sticking. Okay, everything's all oiled up good. Roll that around, get this secured, and just waiting on my pan to warm up. Turn this one up a little bit, turn this one down a little bit. Everything should be good to go. The eggs also take a bit longer to cook than pancake batter does in this, so that's something to be aware of. And one other thing that I found, you'll see when I get there, it concerns flipping them over with your skewer. All right, let me test a little bit here. I'll take a dab of egg. Yeah, and that cooks up a little bit, so we should be pretty much warm enough. I'm going to start off by, I'm going to fill these pretty close to the top. Roll these guys around. I can just turn this off now. Fill these guys up fairly close to the top with your beaten egg. It's probably going to overflow when I put the cheese and the sausage in there, but that'll be okay, I guess. A little gob of cheese in each one. Cheese, cheese, cheese. And my little sausage balls ought to be warmed up enough. Oops. Yeah, I kind of figured they'd do that to me, but that's okay. This isn't a precise art, as you can see, but with a little practice, I'm sure you'll be able to figure out just exactly how full to fill these things. Let's see if I can. I can't even see my comments from here. Good morning. Now, what I noticed with, try to turn these over, with pancake batter, it seems best if you kind of hook them on the top corner, on the side, and pull them up. But with the eggs, once they've cooked enough that you can start to turn them and pour out the uncooked egg, it seems to work best if you push down the side of the cup and push up the other edge. You can see how that one there is working. Yeah, just kind of scrape down the side with your skewer. You'll feel it go. It's going to be a little messy, but who cares? Messy is good. You don't need to get them all the way turned on the side, just enough to get a good start on them. They're kind of sticking up on the sides. That's causing me the most problem. There we go. Get them separated. Trust me, these will be nice when they're done. Let these cook a little bit more, and we'll carry on with our turning and flipping and pouring out. Try to make sure that the sausage ball sticks inside. Oh, that was nice. There we go. Might have tried turning them a little bit too soon before, but they're coming along good now. What are you silly dogs barking at? This one is giving me fits. I'd love to know what you're barking at. Just so I tell you to shut up. Hang on a second, I gotta put this dog out. There. Hopefully things aren't too out of hand by the time I get back to them. This guy here just does not want to come together. But I shall prevail. Cooking ain't always pretty. But this guy here can go all the way over. I got at least one good looking one so far, so I'm happy with that. Put that little bit of egg over. Yes, even you are going to cooperate somewhat. See if I can pile some of this loose egg on there and get him the ball up good. But anyhow, not terribly exciting except for the dogs barking and raising hell on me. But I tried these before, I think it was Sunday night or Monday night, and they were really good. So if I can get them to come out of here pretty, I'll be happy with them. And if they ain't pretty, I'll still be happy with them because they are some tasty. Get this little piece out of the way. Come on, come on. There you go. Keep turning around, get them all browned up nice all the way around. Like I said, the eggs cook a bit slower than the pancake batter does. We'd be done by now with the pancake batter. But you want to make sure your eggs are cooked all the way through. And I like my scrambled eggs browned pretty good anyhow. That one's just going to be an ugly little mess, but I can live with it. All the rest of them, though, are really coming along nice. Get a little bit off. And you poor little non-conforming egg. These are kind of like Scotch eggs, only inside out. A Scotch egg has a cooked egg surrounded with ground sausage. Then the whole thing is rolled in breadcrumbs and cooked a little bit more. But with this, you got the sausage on the inside instead of the outside. I think we're getting pretty close to done with these. They even stuck together a little bit better. The spot's a little more browning. Once the ball forms up good, they really flip over pretty easy. They roll right around in the little cups. So things get pretty slick once they're going good. And this guy. I don't know what's got them dogs all excited, but something's got them worked up. I think we're done. I'm going to call it done anyway. Take my pan off the heat. And Move my extra bits out of the way. Get these guys on plate. And you. Not the prettiest job of plating these up I've ever seen, but that'll certainly work. I'm going to grab one. I'm going to move my camera back over by my desk and sit down. It'll take me just a second to get there, so, whoops, got my mic cord tangled up. Get a million different things. Come on. All right. Got that around. I'm going to stop my camera for a minute here so you don't get vertigo when I spin it around. And I'm going to stop my mic. Don't worry, I haven't gone anywhere. I'll be right back. Nothing like a little dead air, but I'm almost ready. Trying to get cables untangled and cords out of the way and get this camera spun around without making everybody seasick watching it. Try to get that there. Sitting in a bit of a weird angle. All right, let's see. Yeah, that's not too bad. Maybe up a little bit more. There I am. Okay, I can give you a little better look at these. You can see what you end up with. These are really cool. You got the little Aebleskiver balls. Let me get my stool over here and cut this in half for you. And we'll see if the sausage stayed reasonably centered in one of them. Yeah, it did. Got your sausage in the middle, a little bit of cheese, nice egg all the way around it. And that's really kind of fun to make. It's a really slick little deal. I bet your family would love something like that. I'm sure. Okay, I'm going to back up here and try and catch up with the comments because I could not see anything from over there at all. 24 people watching. That's always good. Kind of warm in here yet. I forgot to turn my air conditioner on before I left for work today. It was pretty humid. It wasn't quite as hot as it has been the last couple of days, but it was plenty humid enough. Time to mud brick. Let's go. Okay, you can hear me. You didn't miss very much. It was just me trying to get set up. Hello, am I Tom Bodette? No, he makes more money than I do. It's all's good in Kentucky. Oh, that's always good. Good morning from Indonesia. Good morning to you too. Try this recipe out as soon as you find one of these pans. Yeah, they're not real hard to find. You know, I see them fairly regular in secondhand stores, so you should be able to pick up a decent one. The dogs, yeah, never fails. They just got to throw a fit once I start doing something. If I just sat here staring at the ceiling all day, there wouldn't be a peep out of them. But turn on a camera or a microphone, they'll start barking and yapping and decide they got to be front and center with everything. They look good. Yeah, these are real good. I'll take a bite of it here once it cools off a bit. Hi, Billy Lee and Ron Thompson. Michelle Holmes, or Homies. Love the idea. Love to try it. I live away from volcanoes. Hi, Suburban Hillbilly. Scotch eggs are good. Yeah, these are kind of inside-out Scotch eggs, but they're still really good. Yeah, they work for a lot of different things. The traditional pancake balls, and you can fill those with whatever kind of jelly or filling you want. You put the sausage in the middle pre-cooked. Yes, I did. You have to pre-cook the sausage before you put them in, because otherwise there won't be time for the sausage to cook through, and you'll end up with a chunk of half raw sausage in the middle of your ball. You don't want that. Something I never made. Yeah, I never made it before this weekend either. Just like I said, I tried them on Sunday night or Monday night, I forget which, just to give it a test run to make sure. Yeah, I'd be dying without air conditioning in Georgia. Heat index of 108. Yeah, yesterday the heat index was a little over 100 here because it was so humid. We had some fairly strong storms that came through. It cooled it off a little bit, but didn't really get rid of the humidity like it should have. So it's been still pretty warm and humid. I'm going to turn a little bit more towards the camera so I'm not at such a weird angle. I got to look around. I got the camera between myself and the monitor screen, so I got to kind of look around the side to see what the comments are saying. But yeah, let me give this here a try. It smells really good too. Yeah, I'm really tickled with the way those things turned out. And the sausage is hot all the way through. Those warmed up really good. So yeah, if you get yourself an Aebleskiver pan, definitely give this a try. That's pretty slick. A little bit of cheese, a sausage ball, and 6 eggs seem to work pretty good. That's just about the right amount for this size pan anyway. The cup size can vary, but you should get pretty close with half a dozen, and it'll make 7 balls. So I'll have some left over for breakfast tomorrow. I wonder how good they are warmed up. It might be something you can pack away for lunch if they reheat good. I don't know. I haven't tried reheating them yet, so we'll have to wait and see. I hope you all can hear me well with this mic on. Like I said, I had a problem with my last live stream when I did the drawing for the pans, and people were complaining they couldn't hear me. I turned it up partway through and it helped a little bit, but it was still pretty low watching it on the replay. And I'm not sure. I might have forgot to recharge the battery in my. Get it on camera there and show you, because I got it plugged in right now recharging. I may have forgotten to recharge the battery, so it might have been a little bit low. But I got a new mic. It's the same one as this. That's a Samson mic, the CO1 USB mic. It's a really good mic. I had it for years, but I had a close lightning strike about 2 months back, and it fried my phone, which is kind of next to my computer. Everything's all on that wall. It fried my phone and messed up the router, but it didn't really hurt the computer itself. And I'm pretty sure it got my mic too. So I got a new one, but I haven't hooked it up yet. And even so, it would have been tough I would have had to speak up and yell anyway over by the stove, because it does pick up when I'm working by the cook stove. It seems to work pretty good, but I don't think it'd quite get over to my other stove. Let's see here. New comments. Dying without. Yeah. I got several pieces of cast iron at the Lodge outlet store. The damaged items are very inexpensive, and I've tried hard to find the flaws. Season them when they're perfect. Yeah, I picked up a couple of their Lodge like Christmas brownie molds. They're long like a cornstick pan, They have little trees and snowmen and things like that. And I got 2 of them. They still have the Lodge factory second store tags on them, and they've never been seasoned. Do they pre-season the things that they sell at the factory outlet store, or do they figure they're just selling them off in seconds and they don't bother to season them? Because the ones I have, they're not seasoned at all. They're not. They don't have any factory pre-seasoning. I was kind of wondering because they've been selling their pans pre-seasoned since the early 1990s, and I was wondering, and these aren't, so they might be from the late 80s to the early 90s, or if they don't season them, they could be newer. They do. Okay, so the ones I got are probably late 80s vintage, but they were cheap and they're kind of cool. And I looked over, I couldn't see why they would be factory seconds. There are a few little ripples on the back. It's not really a perfect casting, but I've seen a lot, casting flaws in the store that were more obvious than anything that was wrong with these. So, if you can get them cheap at the factory outlet store, that'd be a great way to go. And like I said, these, I couldn't find the flaws in them. And Suburban Hillbilly said they couldn't either. So, it'd be an inexpensive way of getting them. I don't know if you could order them online from the factory store if they only do it in person there. Traveled for work for Michigan for 3 months, been loading up on cast iron in the northern states. Being from Louisiana, old cast iron is either way overpriced or family heirlooms. Yeah, some areas it is. You get on the West Coast, a lot of stuff is really crazy. But, some areas it's fairly inexpensive. You just got to, kind of shop around and see what you can find. And if you get to a different part of the country, have a look. You might find something nice. Colleen Rich Pickett, hi. Billy Lee, don't think I said hi to you before. Kelsey Brown. Your favorite is an 8-quart Dutch oven for $16. Yeah, that'd be a real good price for a Dutch oven. Complete with a lid and everything, I assume. What did I make? Brenda, these are what I made. These are kind of ass backward Scotch eggs. Instead of having a egg in the middle of sausage, I have a piece of sausage in the middle of egg that I did in my Aebleskiver pan. Got a little pinch of cheese in there too, so you got cheese and egg and sausage all in one handy little spherical thing. And a few extra little bits and pieces of scrambled egg from overflowing the cups a bit. But after I make them a couple more times, I'll know exactly how far to fill the cups without overflowing them. You've been listening, you've never seen my face? Well, I've been doing live streams for, 3 months now? No, longer than that. 4 months, I think, probably back in March or so I started doing live streams. And there's a few videos that I've been in, filming myself. But mostly I film what I'm doing rather than myself. All those look really good. Yeah, those they turned out real good. It's the second time I made them. I did a little test batch over the weekend, and they were really good. And these, they're really yummy. Since you missed it before, if you try and do something like this, be sure to pre-cook the sausage first. Get the little sausage balls cooked all the way through before you put them in the Aebleskiver pan with the egg. Otherwise, you'll have raw sausage in the middle. If you're at a thrift store and you see some cast iron, what would I look for? What would make me leave it on the shelf? Before, it doesn't take a whole lot of practice, and you'll be able to spot good cast iron as opposed to really bad stuff. Usually, bad cast iron you want to pass up on. It has a real coarse, grainy, abrasive texture to it. They can be made to work, but they take a lot of work, a lot of effort, and they're really not worth messing with. And they're usually real thick and chunky and heavy for their size, where a good pan, Lodge is a pretty hefty pan, it's pretty heavy, but, sometimes when you see a pan that's 6 inches around and it weighs 8 pounds, it's, not necessarily that much, but, it's really overweight for how big it is. That's usually a sign that's not very good quality iron, and I'll usually pass up stuff like that. But, sometimes I'll pass up things if I have a bunch of it already. Like I have quite a few lodge skillets, because sometimes I'll buy boxes of stuff, and there'll be one or two pans I'm looking for, and a couple, three other pans that I don't really need, but they're included in the deal. I got a bunch of stuff like that. So I don't usually buy a lodge skillet if I see one in a secondhand store, because I already have a bunch of them, and probably get rid of some of them before too long. I gotta do some thinning out, organizing. But learn what bad iron looks like. Learn what good iron looks like. If you want to do that, go to like an antique shop. You don't have to buy anything. But look at some of the old Griswold, the old Wagner, old BSR, or old Lodge, vintage pans, and get a feel for what the metal looks like, what it feels like. Good cast iron tends to have a real fine, smooth grain to it, and even if the pan has a lot of buildup on it, most of the time the end of the handle is always being grabbed and worn. So a lot of times that'll be clean. There won't be any buildup on it. You'll actually be able to see the metal, and you can see if it has a real fine grain texture to it. And once you see the difference, it's real easy to spot them. You got a fancy handle Griswold waffle maker with a matching base and 2 cornstick pans for $80 last weekend. Very happy, yeah. Going in the light tank tomorrow. Yeah, waffle makers with bases, have really gotten expensive the last couple of years. I see them usually going for anywhere from a cheap one is $80 for the for a waffle maker alone, much less the cornstick pans with it. But I've seen them go anywhere from $80 to $150 a piece, depending on what brand they are, how old. A lot of the waffle irons have a patent date on them, so it's kind of cool. You can tell, more or less when they were made. And they usually renewed the patents every 12 years on them. So you got kind of a 12-year window. If it was patented in 1900, it's probably made 1900 to 1912. Yeah, I got my years old. Yeah, I cut my hair, trimmed my beard. It was getting out of hand. I think I missed a little spot over on this side here. I'll have to go back and touch that up. I'll tell you what the 314B on your waffle maker. 314 is a catalog number for Griswold. You can look up the catalog numbers, and it'll tell you exactly what the thing is, even if you can't, see exactly what size it is or something like that. Griswold had a 3-digit catalog number for most of their things. There's some 4-digit numbers. And the B, a lot of times Griswold would have A, B would be one side of the waffle maker, and A would be one side, B would be the other half, because they were a right and a left half. They weren't identical. They were right and left mirror images of each other. And that's what the 314 is on it. And the number 8 is the size number. Your patent date says 1908. Yeah, that would be sometime between 1908 and 1920. Maybe a little earlier, because sometimes they would make a little change and repatented them. But generally in those years, patents ran for 12 years, and they could redo them once. But then they would put a new patent date on it. Let's see. Wonderful job explaining what to look for in the restoration videos. Great. Oh, thank you. I learned so much watching your channel. Yeah, I try, try and explain things as best I can and pass on what I know. There's tons of stuff I don't know that I'm still learning. A lot of things I haven't seen or haven't come across. And it's part of the fun of a hobby like this is going out and seeing what you can find and learning from other people, different ways of doing things. Curious search of a stand. Oh, for a waffle iron, you mean? Scott Mauser. Heather Langer. Hello, Heather. Yeah, looking for a stand for which? Yes, that silly dog. He's outside course, as soon as I let him back in, he's going to want to turn around and go back out and chase the cats, because that's his biggest entertainment. Alright, yeah, I'm going to go let that silly mutt in. Hang on a minute. Let me stop the camera and stop the mic. Alright, I'm back. That's twice we had dead air in one stream. The FCC would be appalled. Alright, got that clipped on, get the camera going again. Scratch my ear. Got the ear itch. Might have ear mites. You should probably get to the vet and have that checked out. Pup wants to be beside you. Yeah, I know I was going to get underfoot too. Probably get tangled up in all my cords I got dangling down here. Oh, come on, you. You know where you're going. Get out of that. You're going to sit there and look at me, ain't you? Until I get back over here, and then he'll try and crawl underneath my feet, get under the desk, and make a nuisance of himself. Because if you can't be a pain, you just got to be trying harder. Yeah, now it's under my feet. Which isn't so bad when I let my Mastiff in. He wants to try and climb up the side of my chair and lay on my lap half the time. That's a little bit more of a menace than a small dog underfoot. I had to pick my favorite piece of caster, the rarest piece. What would it have to be? The rarest. I have an 1892 Wagner waffle iron. Those are fairly scarce. And I'm trying to think of what else might be pretty rare. My favorite, I got a lot of favorites actually. I mean, there kind of depends on what I'm cooking at the time. I got a little Taiwanese pan that works great for frying potatoes. It just browns them beautifully. I mean, every cast iron pan, even if they're the same brand and the same size, they all cook a little bit different. And after you use them for a while, you kind of see which ones work best for different things. And that little this little cheap Taiwan pan that I paid next to nothing for years ago, it's fantastic for frying potatoes for some reason. It's just the way it is. And Common Sheldon, Idaho says hello. Well, hello, Idaho. Always good to see people from different parts of the world and parts of the country. Anyhow, grab myself something more to drink. As for rare ones, I'm trying to think. I've got a Griswold breadstick pan. They're not rare, they're uncommon, but they're kind of hard to find. And I don't think anybody makes breadstick pans like that anymore. Been having for quite a while. But as for real super scarce, super rare ones, I do have an artistic logo Erie skillet that I found in a secondhand store real cheap. And that was amazing. That was just lucky as hell to find that, because they only made them for 1 year. And it's an Erie branded pan. Griswold made most of their stuff was branded Erie before the early 1900s. And they only made that particular style for 1 year. It was 1907. And now it's all cleaned up and restored. A pan like that sells for $300 to $400. And I think I only paid $25 for it because it was covered in crud. You couldn't see what it was, but you could tell it was a really old pan, and that was about it. Please share how to clean aluminum cookware. I haven't found a really good way of doing that yet. I've been experimenting with some stuff. It's a Dip It coffee pot cleaner. It's a commercial version of that. It works great for greasy stuff and for food staining, but for a real burnt on, black heavy buildup, it doesn't really seem to work very well. And I haven't really had time to try other things. Some new, maybe vinegar. Maybe a vinegar bath would help, but I don't really know, an easy way of doing it other than just, scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing until the thing comes clean. Hello from Oregon. It's like 100 day. Yeah, it's been hot and humid around here for the past week or so too. Kate Hauser, you're new to the cast iron world. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are getting more interested in it now, for a lot of different reasons. Mary's Ranch Wild Cooking, just wanted to stop in and say hello, everyone. Hi, Mary. Hello from Colorado. The aluminum cookware one. Hello, Fine. Yeah, I was just amazed once I pulled it out of the live bath and could see what it actually was. And it wouldn't have imagined it'd be something like that. I could tell it was an old pan by the style of it. Once you see some really old pans and some newer ones, it gets fairly easy to spot. A pan made before about 1930, one made from 1930 to 1960, and one made after about 1960. It's kind of just the way the style shifts over the years and the manufacturing process has changed. So you can usually spot them fairly easy. But other than this being an old pan, I had no idea what it was until I got it cleaned up. And I was just tickled to no end with that one. In fact, if I ever get a little better organized, I think probably for my next private members only stream, I might do a little bit of a show and tell and kind of go through my pile of iron that I got, get some of this stuff sorted out and figure out, because I don't have room to hang everything up. Got some of it hung up. There's a lot of stuff that I still haven't got around to cleaning. Every weekend I get started on 2 different things and get none of it finished, and I get 6 different things going on. And it's just been piling up and piling up. But I am definitely, Brenda, you've been harassing me about the electrolysis tank. I'm going to go in a whole new direction with it, and I'm going to try some stainless steel electrodes in it. And for those, I can just get cheap pans at the secondhand store for a couple of bucks a piece. Now, there's some concern about using stainless steel in electrolysis because it could produce hexavalent chrome. Stainless steel has chrome and nickel in it. And elemental chrome and nickel aren't much of a problem, but when they go into solutions, hexavalent chrome is carcinogenic, it's toxic, and nickel compounds aren't terribly good for you either. But there have been quite a few people that have been using stainless steel electrodes in their electrolysis tanks that have been testing the solution to see if there's any traces of chrome and nickel in it, and they haven't picked up anything. So I think I'm going to set that up this weekend. I gotta go to town tomorrow. I usually do my running and my shopping and all that on Fridays because I work 410s right now. And I'll pick up some stainless steel skillets and pans and whatnot at secondhand stores and use those for the electrodes in my tank. And I'll get some test strips and keep testing things to see how it goes. Because the advantage of the stainless steel is they don't build up rust like plain steel or iron electrodes do in an electrolysis tank. And once they get a heavy layer of rust on them, they don't work as well. After probably about two or three uses, I have to stop and grind the old rust off of them, clean them up. and redo that. And that'd be a lot handier with the stainless steel not getting rusty and be able to just wipe it off one little buildup they do get. And yeah, a lot of people have really been using quite a lot of stainless in their electrolysis tank without any problems. So I'm gonna give it a go, and like I said, I'll order up some test strips and keep you all apprised if it ever picks up any sort of contamination. As a child visiting my grandmother, she made the Aebleskiver a special treat. Such a great memory. Yeah, those things are fantastic. I mean, the first time I used that pan, I'd had it for 4 or 5 months, maybe even a little bit longer than that. And I couldn't help but wonder, why I hadn't tried them before, because they just turned out so good. And like I said, eventually I'm going to play around with them, try and find more of a pastry type recipe, see if I can make some, mini jelly donuts out of them. I think those would be kind of fun too. But even just the pancake batter and filling them or just dipping them in syrup is really good. They're a lot lighter and a lot fluffier than a pancake usually is. Pancakes tend to be a bit heavy. Found some carbon fuse for animals online for cheap. Should look into that. Yeah, carbon would work great too. They use that in this plating shop and they never go bad. See, I haven't been able to find cheap carbon electrodes, so if you can find them cheap enough, that'd definitely be the way to go, because you wouldn't have any sort of risk with those. But I could find the electrodes for like carbon arc torches or carbon arc lights, and they're really expensive for anything that had any size to it. I bet it would work for apple dumplings. Yeah, they'd work good for that too. Wrap them up and bake them in that. Pipe fitter by trade gets mad at the stainless steel tubing. Yeah, I can, like I said, just for the, set it up and try it out, I can just use aluminum cookware. And I come across stainless at work too fairly often, doing demolition work too. So that shouldn't be too big of a problem if it works out well. And you can, save your stainless tubing and build your own electrolysis tank. I'll show you all the ins and outs of setting one up. And now I have 2 of them, so I can maybe get caught up on some of my cleaning and seasoning that I got to do. I got a bunch of stuff that I got stripped, but I still haven't got around to running it through the E-tank and seasoning it yet. So hopefully I can get some of that backlog cleared up and do a little sorting and buying and selling and trading. And I got to thin out some of the stuff. I got a lot of extra bits and pieces. I grew up in the 50s, and that chimp always reminds me of Dave Galloway. Yeah, with the what was that chimp's name? I know the name too, I just can't think of it. Handsome and cut trim. 2 carbon rods for $25. Yeah, that ain't bad. I mean, most of the other ones I've seen, they were $60, $70 a piece, and they weren't all that big of a rod, really. It was pretty insane what they were getting for them. How big are the carbon rods you found? Oh, J. Fred Muggs. That was the chimp. Couldn't think of it. Hmm. 12-inch. Yeah, those definitely work. They would really do the trick. Yeah, probably get 4 of them. 1 in each corner. It kind of depends on what sort of a setup you got, what you're using for a tank, and 12 inch would be plenty long enough and get them in there good. Are different brands more popular in different parts of the country? Here in Oklahoma, you see mostly Wagner. Yeah, brands like Lodge and Birmingham Stove and Range. are real popular in the southeast, down in Alabama, Georgia, because Birmingham Stove and Range, of course, is made right there. Atlanta Stove Works is another one. Martin Stove and Range. They're pretty common in the deep south, and a lot of people seem to enjoy collecting more local brands. And you start getting up into Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, you start seeing a lot more Griswold and Wagner because they were made in Ohio. And we're on the edge of the Rust Belt here, so they're a bit more common. And Oklahoma, I suppose you get a little bit of everything. You're close enough to the south for more southern ones, and close enough to the Rust Belt that you get into the ones that are made mostly in Ohio. So yeah, I mean, different. Some of those more popular. Others, sometimes who knows why things get popular in one particular area and not another. And it's kind of tough to say. Would have to make your own rigging system for attaching. Maybe drill a hole through. Yeah, you could drill it. Be careful you try to screw anything into it, because if it started to wedge, they'd break real easy. But drilling a hole through it, you shouldn't have too much problem. And clamping to it. You don't want to put too much pressure on it because the carbon would be pretty brittle. Or you could just a simple clamp, something that'll just make contact with it because the carbon's conductive. I mean, just enough to hold on to. You don't have to really, bond to the carbon. It's not like you'd have to, solder something to it. Yeah, you probably could just clip to it with alligator clips or, something of the sort that's big enough to get around them. It depends on how big around they are. You could use like a, if they're around 1/2 inch in diameter or maybe bigger, you could use a ground clamp, for grounding your house to the ground rod or to the plumbing. They make various pipe clamps and things of that nature that would work pretty good, I should think, for clamping onto them. Just put just enough pressure on it to hold it good and make good contact. For big alligator clips would probably work. You just need something to put enough grip on them to keep them from falling into your tank or falling off the wire. And that's all you really need, because you're not putting any kind of stress or load or anything, not holding anything up with them. So you should be able to figure out something fairly easy, I would think. Yeah, I think that would probably work. Of all things, I had a ground rod clamp around here within arm's reach. I always have a lot of weird things hanging around here within arm's reach of me, playing with different little projects, so never know what I've got laying around. Lord, it's been tired. So yeah, like I said, definitely this weekend I'll be making a video on that electrolysis tank, getting that set up and how to rig one up and run it. And I've got my old tank, I can show you that too, just to show it a little bit different setup. And I'm looking forward to doing the bigger one, because then I can hopefully run 2 pans at the same time off of my charger. It puts out 40 amps, so it puts out plenty of power. The more amperes you can run, the faster it'll work. But even if you have a small charger that only puts out 10 amps or something like that, they work good. It just takes a little bit longer. Instead of 12 hours, it might take 24. So I should be able to get away with it. I don't think you could use a welder. That would be kind of a nice thing if you could get away with something like that and electrolysis, 20 pans at once if you had a big enough rig. But that might be a little bit more than you really want to play with. Have I ever heated the tank? No, I haven't. I usually do it in the summertime out on the porch, so it's fairly warm already. It does make a big difference with a lye bath. If it's cold or if it's hot out, it works a lot faster if it's warm. And I know some people have have experimented with heating up their lye baths, and yeah, they do work a lot faster if they're warm. And that used to be what automotive machine shops would do for cleaning engine blocks and things like that were cast iron. You know, it was just a big kind of a car wash spray rig type of thing that would spray the blocks with hot lye to dissolve all the grease off and get them cleaned up and stripped down. But now that most blocks are aluminum, of course, you can't use lye. They have to use a different sort of cleaner, but it's, you know, different process. But yeah, I mean, they basically boiled them in lye to clean engine blocks years ago. So it can be done, and you know, I mean, how fast you need to strip a pan is kind of hard to say because you know, with a lye bath, you can put it in there. You can leave it soak for a couple of weeks. It's not going to hurt anything if you leave it in there for a long time. So unless you're in a big hurry, you know, you can just kind of put it in there and forget it. You know, it's not going to erode the iron or cause any problems in a lye bath. And like I said, I usually do that outside in the porch in the summer. I did have a little lye tank inside here over the winter by the wood stove, and that kept it fairly warm. Kept it working along fairly quickly. But we're getting up to about an hour here, so I'm going to wrap her up. And thank you all for stopping by and joining me, making some little Aebleskiver, took them away, making some little Aebleskiver sausage and egg balls. That was kind of fun, and hopefully you give that a try, or if you can find yourself an Aebleskiver fan and want to give it a try, you can just replay the video and you'll have the recipe there. And thank you much for stopping by, and thank you much for joining. And I'm just happy to share an evening with you all here. And I'll see you next week with something new or something old or something different. And we'll see you then. Bye now. I got to end. Here we go. There's my button. And now we're ending.